Hello, I'm David Chaston with 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz. This week, get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock, with news in the New Zealand dollar is sharply higher this morning. Today's dairy auction brought higher prices, the third substantial gain in a row. Prices are up 7.7% in US dollar terms, but only up 5.7% in New Zealand dollar terms. That is because the Kiwi dollar rose strongly on the news, up to 74.2 US cents in its highest level in 16 months. There were good gains in the price for most commodities, butter, cheese, skim milk powder, but whole milk powder lagged at this auction, up only 3.7%. Still, the cumulative impact is growing and overall prices are back to the levels we last saw briefly in March 2015, but were sustained in July 2014. Since March this year, prices have risen 43% in US dollar terms, although they're only up 27% in New Zealand dollar terms. Our currency tends to rise in concert with these dairy auction prices. In the US, the closely watched ISM survey of services slipped sharply to its lowest level in more than 6 years. The only problem is that this survey is known to be a poor predictor of growth. The earlier market survey is more telling, but markets do react to the ISM version. The bottom line is that consumers are confident, their job market is solid, but business investment is the weaker point. It is a similar story in Europe. Growth there is up 1.8%, but it is lower business investment levels that are restraining these economies. The latest data out from airlines shows that air freight volumes rose in July, up 5% from the same month a year ago. The strongest growth was in Europe and the Middle East, and the weakest in Africa and Latin America. North America and Asia Pacific grew in the 4% range. And the Aussies left their benchmark interest rate unchanged at 1.5% late yesterday in their monthly review. It was Governor Glenn Stevens' swan song after 10 years in the role. When he started, their benchmark interest rate was 6%, and it got as high as 7.25%, but it has been the standard slide since then. And staying in Australia, Fitch is reporting that car loan losses are at a 6-year high, and that's only because they started tracking it in 2010. The levels are not overly high, but they are rising quite quickly. In New York, markets are open again after their long weekend, and trading shows the US Treasury 10-year yield is down sharply to 1.54%. Equities are up, however. The oil price is pretty much unchanged today, with the US benchmark price now just under $45 a barrel, while the Brent benchmark is just over $47 a barrel. The recent brave talk of an output freeze agreement between Russia and Saudi Arabia, with Iran backing it, seems to have been a mirage. The gold price, however, is much higher. It's up more than $20 to just over $1,347 an ounce. New Zealand dollar has pushed higher today as well on the good dairy auction result. It's now at 74.2 US cents, 96.6 Aussie cents and 65.9 euro cents. The TWI is now at 77.1, and that's its highest level since May 2015. Good data next week on the current account, and the second quarter GDP growth will probably not hurt the Kiwi dollar either. I'm David Chaston. That was 90 at 9, brought to you by interest.co.nz.